Hello and welcome to RGS Submitting Forms and Documents. In this tutorial I'll be guiding you through how to submit ethics and governance forms and documents to either an internal WA Health Ethics or Research Governance Office. Once application forms and documents have the status of authorised, they can be submitted via the Active section of the Applications tab. Ethics forms and documents use different pathways for submission depending on whether the lead Human Research Ethics Committee or HREC is internal or external to WA Health, or whether there is an additional specialist HREC involved. I will demonstrate these three different pathways. Governance forms and documents are always submitted in the same way. This example demonstrates the scenario for an internal HREC. Ethics forms can only be submitted by the Coordinating Principal Investigator, CPI, or the CPI delegate. However, documents can be submitted by all project members. With your initial application, forms and documents should all be submitted at the same time, so that can be added as a package to the next Ethics Committee meeting by clicking Submit to Ethics. In this screen, select the HREC. If you have two HRECs, a lead and a specialist, select the lead first. Once you've made the submission to the lead, you can repeat the process to submit your application to the second HREC. This screen will only display authorised forms and documents. If your form is not authorised, you will see this error message. RGS will not allow you to submit a document for the initial submission without an ethics form. Click OK and Cancel to return to the Applications tab and authorise the form. Alternatively, if you have not uploaded any documents, you will also see an error message. RGS will not allow you to submit the WA-specific module or WASM without the attached Human Research Ethics application or HRE document. Click OK and Cancel to return to the Applications tab and upload the document. Once all forms and documents are authorised, select all the ones you want to submit and select Submit to Ethics. A successful submission on-screen message will display. The CPI and the CPI delegate will receive an email with forms and documents listed, with a link to the Project Applications tab. To submit to the second HREC, click Submit to Ethics again. Select the specialist HREC. The forms and documents will be displayed as submitted. Select them again and click Submit to Ethics. You will receive the same on-screen message. The forms and documents have now moved from the Active section to the Submitted section of Ethics Approval. Forms for both HRECs are listed under their HREC name. And in the grid, they are listed under their name, their version, submission status and date. Click on the form's hyperlink to open the form or select it to print. Submitted documents will be displayed in the Documents section under their HREC name with similar details, though they are also assigned a document ID for tracking within RGS. Click on the Documents link to open the document or select it to print. Clicking View will allow you to view the document details. The ethics forms and documents will now undergo the validation and the review process by the Ethics Committee. You can track this process here as dates will be generated when each stage is complete. This example of a different project demonstrates the scenario when the lead HREC is external to WA Health and there is no additional WA Health specialist HREC. When the lead HREC is external, the WASM is added, completed and authorised as normal, as previously demonstrated. The form can be selected and printed as a PDF to send to the external HREC. Once the lead HREC has given ethics approval, the approved documents as well as the external HREC approval letter should be uploaded as normal in the Documents section. As a WA Health HREC or Ethics Office is not involved in reviewing these documents, they are submitted as normal through the Ethics section, but they are validated by a Research Governance or RG Office associated with one of the WA Health sites. Click Submit Ethics to RG Office. This time, instead of selecting a HREC, you will select an RG Office. Then select the authorised forms and documents as previously shown. You will need a HRE document to accompany the WASM. Then submit to RG Office again. Once submitted, all the ethics forms and documents will be visible to all the RG officers. Your submitted ethics forms and documents will this time be displayed under the RG Office name. As Research Governance Officers or RGOs do not review previously approved ethics forms and documents, they will only validate them to ensure the correct forms and documents have been submitted. If they are valid, their validation status will remain as submitted. If they are not valid, they will be marked as such. Their submitted status will only change to approved when the RGO enters the external lead HREC's approval status in the system. This example demonstrates the scenario when the lead HREC is external to WA Health and there is additional WA Health Specialist HREC. In this case, you will submit to the Specialist HREC the ethics forms and documents approved by the external lead HREC, plus any additional documents required by the Specialist HREC. This is done using the same process you would follow to submit to a WA Health HREC in the first scenario. You will only be able to select the Specialist HREC. Select the forms and documents and submit to Ethics. They will then move to the Submitted section under the Specialist HREC's name, awaiting review by the Specialist HREC. The submission process for governance is very similar to the ethics process. Governance forms can only be submitted by the CPI and the Principal Investigator, PI, or the PI delegate associated with the site. However, documents can be submitted by the CPI delegate and all project members associated with the site. Governance application forms and documents do not have to be submitted as a package, but your governance review may be delayed if the site-specific assessment form or access request form are not submitted to substantiate the submitted documents and vice versa. Once the form or document is authorised, they can be submitted by clicking Submit to Governance. Select the RG Office and the site. All authorised forms and documents will be displayed. Select the ones you want to submit or use the Select All button and then Submit to Governance. A successful submission on-screen message will display, but an email is not currently sent. As governance forms and documents are site-specific, in a multi-centre project, you can only submit forms and documents to one site at a time. Once a document has been submitted, it must be uploaded again if you wish to submit the same document to another site, for example, the insurance certificate. Bear in mind that if a previously submitted form or document has not yet been validated by the receiving RG office, you will have to wait until this has occurred before you can make another submission to that office. Contact them if this has occurred. Once submitted, the forms and documents move from the Active section to the Submitted section in Site Authorisation. Forms are listed here under the RG office name and then the site name. Documents are listed in the same way. Both have their details displayed, the same as ethics and governance forms. The governance forms and documents will now undergo the validation and review process by the RG office. You can track this process here as dates will be generated when each stage is complete. Thank you for watching this tutorial. I hope you have found it helpful.